What's going on, internet? The Black Hokage here, aka TBH. And to be honest, I don't even want to do like my whole like intro, the welcome to Hokage Thots, the ain't no show, the show where ain't no hoes. Oh my goodness, or all that other shit, because for full transparency, your boy is sad. My spirit is broken. I am stressed out. And I don't have any show notes today. But I decided, the show must go on because, first and foremost, for full transparency, I have like advertisers, which means this show is on a set schedule. So I have an episode due and it has to get done. And even though I'm going through some stuff the past week, like as a man, that's kind of just like the plight of a man. Like you just got to get it done. Like the show must go on and I must truck through this shit. So understand that I have no show notes. I'm not in a joking fucking mood. I've been going through some bullshit, some stuff in my personal life. And I just decided to cut the mic and the camera on, and I decided to speak from the heart and just be vulnerable. And I know some people are gonna laugh at me, but honestly, I'm at a point where I don't give a fuck. So I'm just gonna say some real shit, bro. So let's back it up, man. What's the kid been going through? The sad Kage. I think that's what I'm gonna call this episode, the sad Kage. I'm gonna be blowing my nose too a lot. So y'all know I've been working out like crazy. I have no fitness update for y'all because I haven't been weighing myself, but I feel like I look thinner. I'm still doing fine. But this past week it's been rough for me because I was getting kind of tired of doing, calisthenics, and I decided to order some weights off Amazon because they were on sale for Prime Day. And weights came in and I started weightlifting again, and it's the first time I've weightlifted in like a year, since like maybe like February. It's been almost a year. And I kind of dove into the deep, and I have a lot of experience weightlifting. I know what I'm doing in terms of form and shit, but I didn't, I'm detrained. I didn't ease into it. My dumbass decided to do a routine where I worked myself a little bit too hard, and I ended up getting what's called bicep tendonitis. And basically what it is like crazy inflammation in your arms. You can get it in like pretty much anything in your body, but I got it in my arms because I was working arms that day and shoulders and stuff. And like my arms were like swollen up so freaking bad. Like that episode of SpongeBob where he was trying to get his muscles with Larry the Lobster with the inflatable muscles and shit. So I was in so much pain. Like I have a very high threshold for pain because I have a background in wrestling and shit. So a lot of things honestly don't bother me. It's really hard to break my spirit. But I was in so much pain that like I had to sit my ass down for like this whole week. I could not move my arms past like a certain angle, like a 90 degree. I was walking around like at a 90-degree angle for days at a time. I could not do anything. I couldn't edit video. So it forced me to sit down, which I don't do a lot, and just do nothing. And one of the hardest things that I have to deal with is I'm always the person that everybody comes to for help. Everybody leans on. Whether it's family or friends or like other content creators, they always ask me for help. And I've always struggled with the concept of like, who do I call on when I need help? Because everybody views me as like this very strong person. And sure I am. But it's real sad boy hours right now. Because I was sitting around the couch. I was sitting on the couch a lot. And it caused me to do a lot of self-reflection. And a lot of and think about a lot of things, and it just made me like really sad. Like I guess I came to the realization that I use my work to deal with certain things, and I don't spend enough time thinking about other things. And I just came to the conclusion that it's like, you know what it is? It's like I guess COVID finally kind of like broke my spirit, I guess. If you ever heard the 808 and Heartbreak album from Kage, I think it's the opening track, and I'm paraphrasing, but he says something along the lines of where he was like, you know, my friends are showing me pictures of their kids, and all I could show them was pictures of my new Benz or something like that. And that's how I've been feeling. And it's for like a multitude of reasons. It's like, yo, just like for full transparency reasons, and like I'm not doing this to like flex, but like just to give you an example, like that shit about money, it can't bring you happiness. That shit is real, man. That shit is real. I was sitting in the couch, just sitting in my quiet, sitting there doing nothing, and it was just quiet, and I have nobody. I have no family, fucking with COVID. And then with COVID, you know, I don't get to see certain people as much anymore. So it forced me to sit in my quiet, and I'm just sitting around in my house, and I'm like, yo, I have all this nice shit. I have a lot of nice shit, man. And like I said, to be transparent, and like I'm not trying to flex on nobody, but like in the month of November 2020, I'm probably gonna gross between like $30,000 and $40,000, like alone. And like I'm sitting here, I'm like, yo, I'm making good money now, and I'm looking around, I'm looking at all the nice stuff in my house, and I'm just like, none of it matters if you don't have anybody. And I guess what I was already kind of sad about that, thinking about that, and the holidays are coming up. I always spend the holidays alone because I have nobody. You know, the only person I have a really good like relationship with is like my mother. I have an older sister. She hates me for whatever reason. I have two brothers. They hate me. I've never done nothing to them. But for whatever reason, I'm the black sheep in my family, and the only person who shows me love is my mother. And the GI boy. So I'm just sitting there like, damn, I got all this money and nothing to show for it. That shit sucks, man. It fucking sucks. But what really fucking broke my spirit is I let somebody down that means a lot to me. The one thing that means a lot to me the most. Fucking, I'm over here fucking, let me blow my nose. That's gonna be the theme of this episode. It's not gonna be let me get a swig of water. It's gonna be let me blow my nose. Fucking, but what really like kind of, I was sad, but what really broke my spirit is how much I let down. Like, yo, I got a booger. Ugh. I'm sorry, this episode is gross. Fucking, my someone who's like important to me in my life, my significant other. Fucking, we had a conversation and it kind of went left, and it was like, it wasn't like an angry conversation, I like that, but like she kind of lashed out at me in an emotional way. And what I mean is like, I don't want to go too much into detail because none of y'all goddamn business, but she was like, basically I focus too much on work, and like ever since I am guilty of this. Ever since COVID hit, I guess I haven't given as many words of encouragement. My communication has been lacking the effort there, and I've just kind of buried myself in my work, and I kind of forgot about her. And like, it was like a flood of emotions that came at me from her. Like, not like anger one, but she was like crying, and like I'm crying on the phone, and like I could really, it's one of those, like, love is a crazy thing, dog. If you never felt it, and I'm not gonna lie, it's really hard for me to deal with this type of stuff, because I'm not gonna lie to you, the way that I viewed a woman before I had met her, like, they was like whatever to me. It was just kind of like, I always felt like I could just, like, this one I don't want to lose, I guess. This one is different, very much different. I remember she went on a trip, and she was by herself, and it was her first time going on a trip, and she like texted me when she got off the plane, and like I could literally feel her anxiety through the phone. Like, that's the level of connection. Like, when she was texting me, I literally could feel what she felt. Like, that's the level of connection that we have. And it's like, once I found that, I didn't want to lose it. And like, that was the level of connection that we had the other night. And that conversation kind of broke my spirit. to hear that I had disappointed her so much, because I do love that woman. And all she ever asked for was my attention and words of encouragement and support. And it's not that I wasn't doing that, but it's I could do it better. And I know I can. And I've been drowning myself in my work with COVID. And then I've been stressed out too. I have things going on behind the scenes, things I've been working on, big bags. But it's like none of that shit none of it fucking matters, man. None of it matters if you have nothing to show for it. So it was like we had a heart-to-heart conversation, and that shit like broke my spirit, and it allowed me to fester kind of in my thoughts even more about. First of all, I think I'm gonna just start taking more days off, at least like the weekends. Like I just been streaming too much, been making too many damn videos, and it's like, does all the extra money matter? Like when all she wants is my attention and my affection, especially when she's going through her own type of bullshit. And the answer is no. The most important thing in life is relationships. And I think that's what COVID has shown me, and I think everybody. I think everybody's lonely, especially like I put out a tweet the other day and like saying, ask me questions for the podcast. And literally half the questions are like, how do you deal with shit in like COVID? And like you see, like fucking this shit like finally broke my spirit. And like it's at the point where it's like I feel like people are gonna laugh at me for like this episode, but the show must go on. That is one of the plights of being a man that I think women will never understand. This is all over the place. I apologize. Some women don't want to hear this shit, but like when you a beautiful woman, I think a lot of women know like deep down if they want to, they can just get married and live off a dude. Like the plight of a man is like nobody gives a fuck about you, bruh. Nobody gives a fuck about you. And so it's like you can couch surf and live with a woman as a man, but it's always temporarily. Eventually they're gonna kick you out, and that's what I mean. You as a man, you have to get up and get it. Even on days where like this day where like I just don't want to deal with shit. I was like, fuck it, I'm still gonna record an episode. And the one person that I wanted to make happy is like I'm not making them happy. So I guess I gotta just improve as a man. So like I just been doing a lot of self-reflection, thinking about what it takes to be a better person, what I need to pay attention more to, because you don't want to end up like me. You don't want to end up like a lot of people like me, where you're just sitting around and it's like I got all this stuff, but like some of y'all don't understand how lucky you are that you get to wake up and you just get to talk to people. Like it's really fucking weird. I don't have anybody to talk to. That's part of the reason that I work out like on my balcony, because my neighbors are out there. It's like the only type of interaction. Like sometimes people will walk by and say, hey, how you doing? And like that's like the most interaction that I get like during the day. I don't get to talk to anybody. It's probably why I've been like streaming so much more. Being able to, I genuinely do like entertaining people and making jokes. That's kind of how I deal with shit. But none of that matters if the people who are closest to you and the people that you love are disappointed in you. And you know that you can do better. And that's why I guess I'm just I was so blind to this shit, like the shit that was right in front of me, especially because I know that person deals with a lot of internal issues. And it was really fucked up of me so the way I was raised is I was raised up like the kind of like the suck it up type shit. You know, my dad was in the military, so it was like kind of suck it up. And like in the back of my head, like subconsciously, I guess for me, I thought, oh, she'll be all right. She'll be all right. Just being totally insensitive to that person's feelings. And now I realized as I got older, it's really funny. It's really weird. Cause I remember Siggy was telling me this like a couple months ago. He's like, dude, it's fucking weird. He's like, like once I hit my 30s and like I started having kids, he's like I just got way more sensitive. He's like I catch myself crying during like certain movies and shit. And that's how I feel nowadays. Like, fuck, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. To be like transparent, this is the second podcast I've done this weekend. I had to do the GI podcast yesterday, and I was feeling down yesterday too. And fucking even like JG was like, fucking, I'm sorry. Even JG was like, yo, he was like, you good, my nigga? Because I broke down like 10 minutes before we were supposed to record. And I think that episode hasn't dropped yet. I didn't cry during that episode, but I think you can sense it. I wasn't focused. I wasn't talking. The episode was short. He was like, I never seen you like this. I mean, he was cool though. He talked me through it though. My anxiety's through the fucking roof. I am stressed the fuck out. But like I said, the show must go on. What was I talking about? I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. I said something about Siggy. Being insensitive and unempathetic. I'm a real hard ass. I had some really good heart-to-heart conversations with some friends. And like I had a conversation with like Heaven, and she was telling me that like one of the things she loves about me is she's like, you give that tough love. And she's like, I absolutely need it sometimes. But she's like, sometimes you are like a hard ass too much. And you need to soften up sometimes. She's like, especially, he's like, you don't necessarily have to do it with me. He's like, especially with your woman. She needs those words of encouragement, especially because I know that she deals with things internally like depression and stuff. Especially with COVID, everybody's dealing with depression. And it's so fucking insensitive of me to not realize that when I'm thinking, oh, she'll just be okay, or, you know, that suck it up shit, anytime I don't give her words of encouragement or something positive, fucking, it affects her like tenfold because of her mental issues. And that's really fucked up that it took that conversation for me to realize that. And I just felt like a bad person. And Heaven was telling me that she was like, I love that you give that tough love. She's like, we all need that. But sometimes, you know, motherfuckers just need a hug, man. I was like, damn, bro, I feel like a fucking idiot, man. Sometimes things are so simple, but you just don't see it. It be right in front of you and you just don't see it. So I've been focusing on communication. That is the key. Being totally honest and like transparent about how I feel about certain things. And I guess I've been distant too towards that person, because I feel like it takes two to tango, and sometimes I guess I was feeling alone and I didn't get the attention when I wanted it. I don't even know where I'm going with this, and I guess I didn't have the best responses. Shit is just, life is crazy, man. Life is fucking crazy. I tell you this much: communication is key. Tell people what you want and make sure to listen to what people want and listen to understand. I guess sometimes I wasn't listening to understand, but listening to, you know, it's like I'll take advice sometimes, but I guess I also want to make sure I get my point across. I want to make sure I score a point versus just like, okay, I understand where we're going. And like, I apologize and I'm gonna do better, versus like, I guess I'm learning when you're having a conversation with somebody, don't try to bring up your grievances with them when they bring up something with you. Just listen to what they're saying and take it to heart and improve and bring it up some other time, because then it comes across like you're trying to be argumentative versus you're just trying to listen, understand, compromise, and grow as a person. So, you know, listen and actually try to understand, because I'm gonna tell you right now, this shit sucks. Every holiday season I'm alone, and fucking once again, COVID, I'm gonna be alone. I've been invited to Heaven was nice enough to invite me to come hang with her family in Baltimore, and I appreciated that. It sucks, man. It fucking sucks. I remember somebody had said in my chat, it was like, yo, you people who get money, like, y'all always say that shit don't bring happiness. No, that shit is real, bruh. That shit is real. It does not bring you happiness. My happiness comes from the fact that I have very good relationships with people, but ever since COVID hit, I guess I've been very neglectful of those relationships, and I haven't been doing what I was supposed to do, and I just been focusing on getting money. Money itself does not make me happy. If anything, it just brings security. It's the thrill of the hunt that makes me happy. I just like accomplishing things and doing things, but like all that money sitting in your bank account, it's like, what did you just look at it? There's only so many things you can buy. I seen a video the other day where he was saying money doesn't buy happiness, but it buys like temporary like satisfaction. But like happiness is an internal thing. You have to decide to be happy. All you're deciding is to click buy on Amazon, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of hit home with me. And there was another video, the universe has just been speaking to me. There was another video I seen on TikTok. This dude was like, it was so random. This dude was like, yo, I'm 31. He's like, I got 3 nice vehicles. And he was showing them on the camera. He said, I got 3 nice vehicles. He said, I got this big ass house, all this land. He had a lot of land too. He was a country dude. But he was like, don't none of this shit mean nothing. He's like, I have nobody to share it with. Nobody to hang out with. And that shit like hit home with me. And that was like, it's been multiple videos on TikTok that's like, the algorithm has just been recommending me that shit time after time after time again. And then there was another video that TikTok recommended me the other day too. And he was talking about something that Drake practices. I forgot the name of it. It's some Jewish word where he was talking about the control of your emotions and not taking things personal when like your partner says it, so that you can listen to understand. Kind of like back to what I was saying earlier. He was like, when somebody says something to you, take a deep breath and control your emotions and listen to understand what they say and empathize what they say so that you two can grow together, and don't spring stuff on them, because then it just creates an argument. And the goal is, you know, relationships and to do better. I was like, damn, that shit like kind of resonated with me. My goal is never to argue with the person, but now I realize that's probably how it comes across. So I just need to take stuff with stride, take a deep breath, and just fucking listen. Just fucking listen. I guess I'm just so hard-headed. The thing about like success is like, and somebody asked this question. I don't even know if I'm gonna answer questions, but I don't think anybody asked that question. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Somebody had God damn, nobody did ask. The thing about success is it makes you very confident to the point where it gives you like, I have ego to a certain extent. If you present facts to me and you tell me I'm wrong, I mean, I think it shows. Like on the podcast, Ethos will correct me plenty of times. I'll be like, oh, my bad. So like, facts are a stubborn thing. I will listen, but you got to present them very well. But there's a little bit of ego involved. Like when you have a certain level of success, like that Kage song, once again, is true. You can't tell me nothing. So it sucks that it took damn near me losing almost somebody important to me for me to realize like, yo, shut the fuck up. Like, you don't know everything. You don't know everything. And that's cool. That is fucking cool. And I you know what else hit me too? Like, was really hard. I was going through this bullshit. Me disappointing my partner, feeling alone, my body being physically weak. And my mom was like texting me. And she was just talking about how much she loves my girl. My mother loves my girl, bro. She's like, that's a good woman. And like, she doesn't even know that like we currently is like going through some bullshit. And the timing was just immaculate. It's like, damn, I wanted to take her home and like introduce her, but it's like, you know, baby steps. We've had some conversations. I feel a little bit better about the situation now. Afterwards, I think the healing has begun. But I will say, you know, that's why I put that tweet out. You know, tell people you love them before it's too late. People were responding. They thought somebody died. No, nobody died for me. Actually, somebody did die. That was another thing. I had a panic attack like 3 weeks ago. That was pretty rough for me. We're all working out from home now these days, and the best way to stay motivated is by listening to your favorite music. The problem is headphones can be expensive, and you want something that gives you the best bang for your buck. So you need to check out the wireless earbuds from Raycon. You already know Raycon earbuds start about half the price of any other premium wireless earbuds on the market, and the sound is just as amazing as other top audio brands you know. Their newest model, the Everyday E25 earbuds, are their best one yet. With 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, and a more compact design that gives you a nice noise isolating fit. Raycon's wireless earbuds are so comfortable, they're perfect for conference calls or binging podcasts like Hokage Thots. What makes Raycon wireless earbuds a game changer for me is just the fact that they stay in my ear. I've dealt with other brands, and a lot of times when you move around just a little bit, they fall out of your ears. They come with different earbud sizes, but the ones that were default, I put them in my ear and I've had no problem with them. So they're very fun to work out with this wireless earbud set. Unlike some other wireless brands, Raycon's earbuds are more stylish and discreet with no dangling wires or stems to distract anyone during video calls. You've heard me talk about how the company was co-founded by Ray J and celebrities like Snoop Dogg, Cardi B, Brandy, J.R. Smith. They're all obsessed with Raycon, so pick up a pair and see what the hype is about. Now's the time to get the latest and greatest from Raycon, and since they're a sponsor of the show, you can get 15% off your order if you go to buyraycon.com/Hokage. That's buyraycon.com/Hokage for 15% off Raycon's wireless earbuds. That's buyraycon.com/Hokage. That's when it really like the first had started. I had like a panic attack because I think I talked about it on another podcast, and I apologize, I'm all over the place. I talked about it in another podcast. I don't know if I went into detail, but just to reiterate, so one of my cousins got murdered in like late last year, like right before I had moved to Florida. I know I don't talk about it a lot because to me it's not really cool to sit there and I don't want to be a hood booger. I'm not interested in any of that shit. Like, yeah, my dad, I tell people I lived a very interesting life. Yeah, my dad was in the military, but I didn't live a spoiled life. I tell people I went to school during the school year. I went to school in the suburbs, and I guess that's why I'm so well spoken. I have a better education probably. But during the summers, I spent my summers in the hood. So I've walked both paths of life. And I've been in multiple, like my family's from the south side of Chicago. I got a lot of family in Atlanta. So I spent a lot of time, and then my mom's side, they from East St. Louis, which for those of you unfamiliar, East St. Louis is a city across the bridge from St. Louis. It's not the east side of St. Louis. East St. Louis is in Illinois. Anybody who knows from East St. Louis ain't shit there. It's like fucking Cleveland, to be honest. It's mini Cleveland. It's a shithole. Like my family comes from the hood for real. And I spent a lot of time in the fucking hood too. So like I always hated that term army brat. Because I'm not a fucking army brat. Like I've been through some bullshit. And not only that, I lived in the hood too. I lived in the hood, but it's like I lived in the hood during the summers during my childhood, but I spent a lot of my time, my early 20s in the hood too. When I moved out of my parents' house, I moved into the hood. I did not want to live with my mom and dad anymore. And like I was willing to go live in a bad neighborhood just to start my own life. And my dad was mad at me. He did not want me to. But I was like, I got to do what I got to do, because the problem with me and my dad is like he's very alpha, and I am too. And the thing about alphas is two alphas can't exist in one household. And that's why I felt like I had to leave. I feel like I had purpose, and I felt like, I'm going to do it. So I'm an adult. You can't run. I was an adult. I was like 18 or 19. You can't run away when you're an adult. So I was going to do what the fuck I want to do. So I moved out. I was living in the hood for like a good 5 years. I was living in Oxon Hill, Maryland, for those of you unaware. I don't know if y'all remember, there was a story during the Popeyes chicken craze, the sandwich. I'm sorry that I'm all over the place. During the Popeyes chicken craze, the sandwiches when they first came out, there was a man that got murdered in Maryland over that chicken sandwich. And like that was like right up the street from where I used to live. I was telling people, I was like, that's crazy. I'm glad I got out about that situation. I used to live like right down the street from the projects. So people that would be like, yo, used to be like a certain type of way in your videos. Like when I used to troll in them Call of Duty videos, the reason being is because like psychologically I was fucked up in a sense that like I dead ass used to have roaches on my feet. I dead ass used to have like roaches. There was so many times where like I was recording videos and like a roach would crawl across my foot, or like I'd see one scurry across the floor of the wall. I had rats a couple times. And that shit fucked with me. That's why I had like a certain level of like aggression and desire and just pumping out content, because I wanted to get out of my situation. Why am I even talking about that? I don't even know. I'm so sorry. I'm all over the place. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Why did I bring that up? Oh, the different walks of life thing. Yeah, so just to give you an example, like my life wasn't all sunshine and farts and shit. I've been through a lot of bullshit. A lot of shit that my parents don't know about. I just don't bring up. Like I said, I used to live right across the street from the projects. And now that I'm getting money, it doesn't make you happy. Make sure that you're mindful of what other people, if you care about people, make sure you're mindful of their needs before it's too late. And that's why I put out that tweet. I was talking about my cousin and like my life, yeah, because people didn't understand. So like going back to my cousin, I had a panic attack like 3 weeks ago. I didn't even tell nobody in GI. Like I just fucking fell to the floor like bawling, crying and shit. And I guess I just hadn't dealt with it. Like I said, the way I deal with stuff is I just work. I work and just distract myself to an unhealthy point where like it balls up and then fucking I just break down. And out of the blue, my mom, she had sent me a picture. It was an old picture from the 90s. I was a kid. Judging by the picture, I don't think I was older than like 5 or 6. And in that picture, it fucked me up because in that picture, it was me. It was my dog. It was my cousin. And it was my older sister. And in that picture, see, I told you, my older sister, I don't have any type of relationship with her. She can't stand me. I don't know what I did to her. I don't feel like I ever did nothing to her, but she's always just fucking hated me for whatever reason since we were kids. I told you, like, there's like a story of one time where she tried to get me jumped when I went like my first day of high school by some people. And the only reason I didn't get jumped is because the dudes pulled up on me and they was like, we don't even know you, dude. Like, your sister's foul for that shit. But that's my family. And it's the story of my life too. Adversity. So like, to me, there was an X on her face because there's no relationship there. My dog is dead. That was my buddy. He was fucking dead. That shit made me a little sad. But what fucked me up the most is my cousin was in that picture. And anybody who's familiar with black culture knows that although he was biologically my cousin, we grew up in the same household for the most part. So he was pretty much my brother. We grew up together. So like a lot of times we'll call it in black culture, we'll call our cousins like our brother or sister. And that picture fucked me up because he was in that picture like smiling and shit. And I'm like looking at it and I'm like, yo, this nigga's dead for real, bro. And like, just to reiterate for those of you, because I don't even know if I told the story. I remember I tweeted about it. It was a real cryptic tweet, but I just said, yo, anybody who in that street shit, stay out of that shit, man. That shit is for the birds, man. That shit don't lead to nothing positive. Yeah, I know it's harder to do something positive and you don't make as much money. But please stay out of that shit, bro. This nigga's dead, bro. That shit like hit me for real. It fucked me up because the way this nigga went out was crazy, bro. My mom told me this dude was on the news, bro. East St. Louis news. You might have heard the story if you're from the area, the St. Louis or East St. Louis area. This dude made the news. My mom told me that he was just standing outside of the bank and a car pulled up and they shot him. And that was the details in which my mom gave me. But my gut tells me there's more to the story. Like, it seemed like he was just an innocent bystander. But I was like, I knew he was in the streets. He was a rapper. And that's another thing that I felt bad about. But I'll give it to that. But long story short, he was standing outside of a bank and a car pulled up and they shot him. And then he was laying on the floor bleeding, but he didn't die. So they got out of the car and they put the gun to his face and executed him. Shot him in the face, like couldn't even like recognize him, I guess. And that shit fucked with me because the last time I even like brought up that dude, I remember I made a joke about him on stream. I think I played his music on stream. He was a rapper. His music wasn't the best, and I clowned him. And instead of supporting him, and I remember my mama said his music got better. Like, I'll admit, I listened to it again recently. When he first came out, that shit did suck, but it did get better, and I felt bad because I clowned him instead of supporting him. And now he's gone. My mom had told me that like he was moving, he was doing shows like in Atlanta and shit. I could have supported him on my platforms and shit like that. And niggas just clapped him, bro. They clapped him, and that shit fuck with me, bro. So tell people you love them. So the moral of the story is that shit, yo. The moral of the story is that shit that they say about the funniest people that you know are some of the saddest people. That shit is real. Through tragedy comes comedy. And the way I deal with my traumas is I just make jokes. It's the only way I know how to cope with shit. Because I've been through so much bullshit. Niggas is dying. My family. Fucking my living situation at one point. Just trying to get out of a bad situation in the hood. To now I found success. I put my head down and I worked, and I'm starting to find that success that I wanted, and I'm still not happy. And the reason being is I let somebody down in my life that was very important to me. Someone that I considered my family. And I don't know if this person is gonna listen to this episode. This shit is really sad. But I just want them to know that I do apologize for my behavior. Or shall I say my lack of behavior, my lack of empathy, my lack of care and attention to detail. Because what's crazy is how I know she's a keeper is I can tell she really doesn't care. I mean, she likes that I make money, you know, I'm that nigga and shit, but I can tell at the same time she doesn't really care. What she cares about is just me encouraging her to be a better person. Me being charming and romantic. That's another thing. The charm has been gone. And it's part of COVID. And I don't have any interaction with any humans. It's hard for me to be charming, I guess, sometimes. But like, all she cares about is I show her the proper love and affection. And attention. That money shit doesn't matter. So I got to do better. And I think that's kind of just the moral of the entire thing. I think I'm tired of talking. Long story short, to wrap this one up, because I don't want this one to be too long. I would just like to say that say I love you to people. Say it often. Yeah, you know, pursue your ambitions and stuff like that, but none of that means anything if you don't have anything if you don't have anybody to share it with. Be kind to people that show you love. Support people when you can. And know that things will get better. I had a really good conversation last night with that person, and I felt better afterwards. I feel like things are moving in the right direction again. Who knows what the future will hold, but that being said, you never know. All I can do is put more effort forth, and that's why I said I'm probably gonna cut back on the streaming. Like, at least try to take like weekends off. I deadass was working like 7 days a week and shit like that. And then when I'm not streaming, then like the working out shit, I was working out on stream and then focusing on editing videos all the damn time. And sometimes you just need to cut that shit off, turn your phone off, Doesn't matter who's calling you, what kind of brand deals or whatever, and just give that person your undivided attention. My pride is like my greatest asset, but it's also my greatest weakness. And to the person that I disappointed, I also want to say that I'm gonna be a better man. Because not only do I need to be a better man for you, but for myself. And this has been Hokage Thots.